One of the most recent speculative mines that I took part in over on sonofatech.locals.com, and that is that the Warthog Network experienced essentially a halt yesterday. And Polaire posted this over on the Discord. There's not a ton of details, unfortunately. He said, "Hello, everyone. As you may have noticed, the blockchain went down just over an hour ago. This is a mechanism designed to prevent the production of invalid blocks. We invite all miners and pool developers to update their nodes so that they can continue mining. We have discovered the bug, which has already been fixed. Why isn't the update mandatory for non-mining exchanges and users? The update only aims to remove invalid transactions before they are mined, so it doesn't directly affect exchanges," and so on. Pre-built binaries will be available soon, and the link is posted over in their Discord. Now, I do have the link up here. The full changelog is right here if you want to go over the technical details and figure out what was changed to basically prevent this from happening in the future. Warthog's a really interesting project from the very get-go. A big reason why I got behind it initially was because I did come into a lot of the BC250 mining boards, and essentially those ASRock mining units with 12 of them in there. And because they have a CPU and a GPU on board there, and because Warthog's mining algorithm requires a CPU and a GPU combo, it was kind of the perfect match. Now, obviously, you can get even better hash rates with more powerful equipment, but being able to deploy a bunch of them at the same time made it very, very advantageous for people to do. The downside, of course, to this on the BC250 side was that we had a lot of licensing, well, a lot of essentially licensing pricing issues with mining operating systems. We did see those get resolved between Hive OS as well as all of the other ones, kind of vying for your participation within their OS, MMPOS obviously being one, Simple Mining being one as well. I believe MMPOS really, from a price perspective on the BC250 sides, kind of took hold there. So I really like what Warthog has done from the very get-go as far as dissuading individuals from basically building up a huge farm onto the network. That was obviously, did see a workaround with the BC250s, but I think overall it is still the proper direction, because what we're seeing is more decentralization and, you know, less major miners on kind of taking a project kind of hostage with the amount of hash power they have. Now, there is some stuff going on within Warthog that's going to be really interesting, but it's important to note that all of the developers do this in their free time and do work as developers full time. So not only are they anonymous, but they are also very busy. So it is one of those things where I'm not necessarily sure how fast they will get up and running and if it will be in time for necessarily the next bull run or anything like that. But there are some really interesting ideas surrounding DeFi, decentralized finance, for those of you that aren't aware of that, and then MEV, which is used to be known as miner extractable value, but now because of the prominence of proof of stake has been renamed to maximal extracted value, and essentially the sandwiching that happens there. Now, what they've done is there has been a matching engine demo that has been released by Shifu, one of the main developers over for Warthog. And essentially what this is aiming to do is solve those problems. And it goes on to say, why do you need this? Decentralized finance is becoming a killer application of crypto and is only going to grow in importance. However, it suffers from fundamental problem. Transactions can be reordered within a block. Since there's no direct concept of time in a blockchain, but instead the blocks form the discrete time sequence of events, there is no notion of which order came before or after within a block. Block builders artificially specify an order in which DeFi orders are processed. This leads to the concept of maximal extractable value, which describes this property and the possibility to reorder. add or omit specific orders such that an arbitrage-like opportunity is formed and exploited. The most notable incarnation of this practice is the dreaded sandwich, which describes carefully crafted front-running and back-running of a victim's order such that it is pushed to the order to the specified limit price. For example, it works by buying before you buy and selling after you buy, and this is done precisely as much as your order's limit price allows. So, the struggle is real, and one method to avoid this problem is to be secretive with your order, but this does not always work well, nor is it practical. Therefore, we need to make DeFi great again and fight back. The solution to this problem is simple to formulate, but difficult to implement. We need to get rid of the ordering of transactions within a block. Each transaction shall be treated equally. Obviously, then front and back running is not possible anymore, and so won't be sandwiches. He goes on to say that he proposes a new matching engine that finds the same price for all buys and all sells for a market. This price is fairly determined by supply and demand and also by pool liquidity. The goal is to implement this matching engine in Warthog Network at some later stage together with hard-coded DeFi capabilities. Now, I have some questions surrounding this, primarily due to the fact that we have seen this in play on VerisHash. Now, we know that on the CPU side of the Warthog mining algorithm, VerisHash is being utilized, so I wouldn't be surprised if some of this idea comes from VerisHash. Now, basically the auto leveling of these transaction fees in DeFi on VerisHash has been solved with something known as liquidity pools. While on the surface this sounds great, where you basically force all token creators to create liquidity pools at the very onset of the minting of their tokens, it actually also creates a barrier to entry for individuals to create tokens, upwards of $10,000 per project just in liquidity fees. Now, this gives the token essentially some sort of innate value off of the kick with the beginning of that token, which could be considered a positive, but also prevents the individuals that want to participate in creating tokens and projects to be at a higher financial capital access level. And I think that these can be really interesting ways to solve it, and you could do some fundraising and that sort of thing. It is an interesting way to solve it. I am wondering if that is really where he's headed. It sounds kind of similar to that. Or if it's going to be like, well, once you have the liquidity pool, we'll average those out and so on. The thing that VerisHash was able, or Veriscoin was able to do with that as well, was essentially create at the node level auto arbitraging, because essentially all of that is public knowledge, and the miner will take that arbitrage and even those out across liquidity pools. So that's an interesting concept on the Veriscoin side of things. We'll see what Warthog ends up doing in the long term, and I'll see if that kind of relation is as similar as it sounds on the surface level, or if it will be quite a bit different from a technical perspective. If you already know, in the comment section or the live chat, definitely let me know. I'll be reviewing those later on. Now, you guys mined during the bear market. You made it through. Well, at least maybe a half of you. I know a lot of you motherfuckers over here didn't actually do it, but the ones that did, I have a new shirt for you guys, and it says, I mined with the bears for the bear market, okay? So if you mined with the bears and you want to rep that you did mine during the bear market, go ahead and head on over to shop.sonofatech.com. And the listing will be down below. I'll put it in live chat right now. I have a sweatshirt. There's a sticker if you'd rather have a sticker, t-shirt, premium shirt, all that cool stuff. Really like the new shirt. I ordered a few for myself, and I just had that design finished this week. Eventually it'll be on the YouTube channel, but that takes a little bit of time, so just give it some time. Proceeds, of course, go to supporting me in the channel, so there you go. And I thought we put some work into it, and I thought you guys might enjoy it.